This phone was supposed to be another boring upgrade. Same sensors, same battery, same Samsung. But after 72 hours of actually using this phone, I'm convinced we've got it all wrong. You see, Samsung gave me this phone early, and what started as another fine incremental update has turned me into reconsidering where this phone sits in the flagship rankings. The cameras are better than what the specs suggest. The display has a feature that should have existed years ago. And the low light performance, it might just be the single biggest night photography jump Samsung has ever made in one generation. So let me break it all down. Let's start with what you notice the moment you pick up this device. The leaks had everyone convinced that Samsung was going full circle, like iPhone level rounded. That's not what happened. This phone is slightly more rounded than the S26 Ultra. It's subtle, but it's enough that this phone generally feels more comfortable in the hands. That feeling when you'd hold the S24 Ultra and the sharp corners would dig into your palms is completely gone. And this really does make a real difference during long sessions. Samsung also made a material switch this year, going from titanium to armor aluminum. I know what you're thinking. Aluminum? That feels like a downgrade on paper. But in the hand, it honestly just feels good. The phone is slightly thinner at 7.9 millimeters and a little bit lighter. And the aluminum does help with the heat dissipation, which we'll talk about a bit later. And this Cobalt Violet colorway, man, it just looks incredible. It's this deep dark purple that shifts depending on the light. Sometimes it's almost black, other times it's like a really rich violet. It's easily one of the best Samsung colors in years. Oh, and the S Pen, you can now insert it the wrong way, so be warned. It sounds minor, but when you're fumbling with the S Pen orientation, it's more annoying than you think. Surprisingly, I've actually been using the S Pen more this time around. Signing contracts, writing down quick grocery lists, it's one of those features that keeps the Ultra, well, ultra. Now, one more design note. The haptics. They're a little bit more refined this year, a little bit tighter, a little bit more precise. It's still not quite at the pixel level of haptic excellence, but the gap I feel is closing. Alright, now for the display. On paper, it's the same 6.9-inch Quad HD Plus dynamic AMOLED panel running at 120Hz. But Samsung has done a lot of work underneath the surface. First off, this is now a true 10-bit panel. That means instead of the 16 million colors that we've been getting, this display can now render over 1 billion colors. In practice, that means smoother gradients, less banding dark scenes, and a wide range of tones. It's one of those upgrades you might not notice immediately, but the second you put it next to the S26 Ultra, you can see it. Samsung also upgraded the Pro Scaler with a new algorithm for sharper upscaling of lower resolution content. And the enhanced mobile digital natural image engine system is doing 4 times the color processing precision. In layman's terms, this display just looks better. It's more accurate and more lifelike. The anti-reflective coating has been downgraded just by a bit. It's a bit less reflective than the S26 Ultra, and honestly, it's still better than what we're getting on the iPhone 17 Pro. So Gorilla Glass Armor 2 continues to be the standard here. But the real showstopper, actual innovation on this display is the Privacy Display. This is the headline feature, and if Apple had launched this first, we would not hear the end of it. Using a combination of narrow and wide pixels in the OLED panel, Samsung can now dim the screen so people next to you literally cannot see what's on your phone. You can apply it to the full screen, specific apps, or just your PIN entry. And the best part about all of this is you can set it up with Galaxy routines, so it automatically turns on when you leave the house and turns off when you come home. You set it and you forget it. It does dim the brightness of the display a tiny bit when it's active, but not enough to be a problem. This is one of the most innovative features we've seen in the smartphone space in a very long time. Now, under the hood, the S26 Ultra is running the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. The larger vapor chamber now extends alongside the sides of the processor for better heat dissipation, so sustained performance should be noticeably better for gaming and heavy multitasking. You also get UFS 4.1 storage, LPDDR5X RAM, and depending on your configuration, either 12 or 16 gigabytes. I mean, it's faster, apps open quicker, AI tasks process faster, everything just feels snappier. Samsung ships this with Android 16 and One UI 8.5, and you are getting 7 years of OS updates. That's a commitment through Android 23. Now for the charging. 60 watts wired, up from 45 watts, and 25 watts wireless with Qi 2 support, up from 15 watts. This is one of those upgrades that sounds incremental on a spec sheet, but you feel it in daily use. Getting to 75% in just about 30 minutes changes the rhythm of how you charge. Quick top-ups while getting ready in the morning, and you're good for the entire day. The 5000 mAh battery is unchanged, but with the new chip's efficiency gains, the battery life has been solid. Obviously, it's too early to make any sort of a conclusion. The volume is great as well. You get good surround sound separation, and it does get pretty loud. Now, I haven't noticed the new Now Nudge feature working yet, which is supposed to proactively suggest relevant info when you need it. I'll keep an eye on Now nudge as I use this phone a little bit more. Okay, now for the cameras. This is where Samsung is being undersold. Yes, these sensors are technically the same. The same 200 megapixel main camera, the same 50 megapixel ultra wide, same 50 megapixel 5x periscope telephoto, but the optics have changed significantly. The main camera now has an f1.4 aperture up from f1.7. That's 47% more light hitting the sensor. The 5x telephoto went from f3.4 to f2.9, 37% more light. In camera terms, that's close to half a stop of additional light on both lenses. And in low light, this is massive. Samsung also enabled multi-frame HDR at the full 200 megapixel resolution for the first time and added a new 24 megapixel shooting mode that gives you a nice middle ground between detail and processing quality. The selfie camera is still 12 megapixel hardware, but Samsung improved the AI ISP processing so you get more natural skin tones and finer details. It's basically a software win on the same hardware. Now, from these samples that I've been shooting over the past 72 hours, the improvements are real. I was walking around San Francisco and shooting everything I could. Street scenes, architecture, portraits of other creators at the event, selfies with my wife, and across the board, the processing feels very different this year, in a very good way. Outdoor shots on an overcast day, the dynamic range is immediately impressive. Cloudy skies retain full detail without blowing out, and the shadowed brick sidewalks still have tone and texture. You can zoom into the architectural details on the building, individual bricks, ornamental stonework, and the sharpness just holds. The colors are punchy but natural. This is not the oversaturated Samsung look from a few years ago. Samsung has dialed in the processing towards something more vibrant and lifelike, with stronger contrast compared to the S25 Ultra, which could sometimes produce flatter, more muted images. But where I've been particularly impressed though is indoors. I shot a bunch of candids and portraits of other creators in mixed lighting. Think warm fireplace glow, overhead event lighting, window light coming through a lattice pattern, and the S26 Ultra just handled all of it. Skin tones across different complexions look natural and accurate. Subject separation on portrait style shots is clean with smooth creamy bokeh that doesn't have harsh cutoff artifacts. You can see individual fabric textures on jackets and sweaters while the background melts away naturally. The selfie camera also surprised me. It's got the same 12 megapixel hardware, but the AI ISP processing improvements that Samsung mentioned, you can actually see it. My wife and I took a couple of selfies indoors, and the skin tones are warm and natural. The edge detection between us and the background is clean, and the bokeh is smooth. This is a noticeable step up from the S25 Ultra selfie experience. The wider f1.4 aperture combined with the improved photography processing should mean even cleaner low-light results, and after testing it, it does deliver. This is where the S26 Ultra really pulls ahead. Okay, so here's what's actually happening under the hood and why the low light is so much better. It's not just the wider aperture. Although that f1.4 letting in 47% more light is huge, the real magic here is the combination of three things working together. First is the hardware. More light hitting the sensor means the camera doesn't have to crank up the ISO as high, which means less noise from the start. That's just physics. But second, and this is the part that Samsung really didn't shout about, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5's AI-enhanced ISP now analyzes scenes element by element. It processes faces, backgrounds, textures, and objects separately, optimizing each one individually for color, noise, and detail. So your face in a dimly lit restaurant gets different processing than the background behind you. That is fundamentally smarter than applying one blanket noise reduction filter across the entire image. And third, Samsung built sensor-specific noise profiles into photography systems. Every camera sensor produces noise differently. The main sensor, the ultra-wide, the telephoto all have unique noise patterns based on their physical characteristics. The S26 Ultra's processor now targets the specific noise signature of each individual sensor rather than using a generic noise reduction algorithm. The result is cleaner images that preserve actual detail instead of smearing everything smooth. And in practice, night shots are dramatically cleaner. Restaurants, street scenes after sunset, dimly lit interiors, the difference compared to the S25 Ultra is immediately visible. More detail in the shadows, accurate skin tones in warm artificial light, and the 5x telephoto at f2.9 pulling usable shots in conditions where it would have been a noisy mess last year. Samsung has always talked up nightography, but this year it actually feels like a generational leap. The 5x telephoto now uses a W-shaped folded lens design, which allowed Samsung to make the phone thinner, but the trade-off is the minimum focus distance went from around 25 centimeters to about 60 to 70. So if you were using that 5x for close-up telemacro shots of food or flowers, you'll notice you can't get as close anymore. That's a real trade-off and something to be aware of. For everything else though, the telephoto is better than it was last year. But now let's talk about the video, because this is where the S26 Ultra makes a real statement. It's the first phone in the world to support Samsung's APV codec, Advanced Professional Video. This is Samsung's answer to Apple's ProRes, and in some ways it does go further. APV is open source, royalty-free, and delivers visually lossless highest video quality with 422 chroma subsampling, meaning cleaner gradients, better skin tones, and more color data for grading. Samsung says it's about 20% more storage efficient than comparable codecs. You get two profiles, APV 422HQ for maximal quality and APV 422LQ when you need smaller files. Both support HDR and log recording. And the log workflow is where this thing gets really exciting for creators. You can shoot in Samsung Log with a flat profile to preserve maximum dynamic range. Then apply a cinematic LUT directly onto your phone. Samsung baked in 4 creative LUTs: blockbuster, coming of age, romance, and thriller, each one giving your footage a completely different mood. Blockbuster goes for that orange and teal Hollywood look. Coming of age gives you that soft pastel K-drama vibes, but hopefully Samsung lets us import our own custom LUTs in a future update. That would be really cool. You also get zebra patterns and false color monitoring when shooting in Log. Pro level features which I never expected on your phone. The footage is already compatible with DaVinci Resolve and LumaFusion, and you can record directly to an external storage. I've been really impressed with APV Log video. You can now genuinely take cinematic footage on your phone and grade it like you would footage from a dedicated camera. So here's the bottom line. The Galaxy S26 Ultra looks like an S25 Ultra with a fresh coat of paint. But 72 hours in, the story is completely different. The wider apertures, the dramatically improved low light, the 10-bit display, the privacy display, APV video, 60 watts fast charging, the design refinements, these all add up to a phone that is meaningfully better every single day. And I think this just perfectly sums it up. 60 watts charging, 10-bit display, faster wireless charging, privacy display, larger vapor cooling chamber, larger aperture, improved front-facing camera. These are all hardware changes. And Apple has shipped lesser upgrades and gotten bigger hype. But when you actually use this phone, it speaks for itself. The Galaxy S26 Ultra might just be the most underrated flagship upgrade of 2026. Samsung didn't reinvent the wheel. They made the wheel spin smoother, quieter, and faster. And sometimes that's exactly what makes a great phone. I'm going to keep using this as my daily driver and come back with a full long-term review. But if you are on the fence about upgrading from the S25 Ultra or even the S24 Ultra, this one deserves a closer look. The sum of all of these parts is greater than what the spec sheet suggests. If you guys made it to the end of this video, drop a dolphin emoji down in the comments below. I would love to know who my true supporters are. And of course, make sure you guys do subscribe, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. This phone is kind of amazing, bro.